Welcome to the Holistic Wealth Podcast. I'm your host, Keisha Blair, wife, mother of 3, author of Holistic Wealth, and founder of the Institute on Holistic Wealth. The show will showcase various experts in the key pillars of holistic wealth. Each week, we deliver the best information on how to become holistically wealthy and live your best life. Today, we have a solo episode and I have a big announcement I'm excited to share with you all. During COVID-19, we've seen so much in the way of collective despair, collective grief, polarization, wealth inequality. It's just been coming at us from all angles. When we even think about issues like burnout is now at record levels throughout the globe. There are studies on Forbes and other news sites that basically point to burnout now as an epidemic during COVID-19. I drew some stats from Forbes just to show you how deep of a problem burnout is now. So 53% of millennials were already burnt out pre-pandemic, and they remain the most affected population, with 59% experiencing it today. Gen Z is now neck and neck. 58% reporting burnout, up from 47% who said the same in 2020. When we think about other generations, Gen Xers are currently burnt out, and it's a jump in 40% of Gen Xers who are reporting feeling burned out. And for baby boomers, it's the same. There's a 7% increase in burnout from pre-pandemic levels, from 24% up to 31%. It's just alarming, the rate of burnout. And when we think about our lives in general, we think about work-life balance. That's taken a hit during COVID-19. I remember in an article I wrote on CBC, I also mentioned, as a mom of 3 kids, how difficult it was to balance online learning with work and everything else. So our work-life balance is pretty much non-existent. People are bringing home more and more work with them. They're expected to do more with less resources. And we've heard about other things popping up, like the great resignation wave, which I've also spoken about in several episodes of this podcast. And when we hear about the great resignation wave, we're hearing figures as more and more people are now quitting their jobs. They're actually having parties on TikTok to show how they handed in their resignation. So we're living in a time where we've never seen anything like this. And the more and more that we're strained at work is the more and more our personal relationships at home are strained. And they're becoming more strained, and people feel like they're doing more and more is required with less and less. So there's another study on loneliness that basically says 60% of us feel lonely. So there's a loneliness epidemic as well. And Harvard University conducted a study. Their results showed that it's even more troubling when combined with data from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, showing that 60% of young people reported experiencing substantial symptoms of anxiety and depression. So it's affecting all of us, including our young people, which is devastating for society as a whole. 60% of us feel like we have no one. And that's a stat from the same Harvard study. And the study says many young people who reported serious loneliness also said they felt as if no one genuinely cared about them. The survey also suggests that lonely people often feel they're reaching out or listening to other people more than other people are reaching out or listening to them. And these things can become self-defeating. When you feel like you're trying hard while other people are not trying, you feel like you're going to get rejected again and again and again, and then you start to withdraw, which increases your loneliness and your anxiety about social situations and social engagement. So what we're finding is that anxiety and depression is at an all-time high. Just last year in the United States alone, 45,000 lives were lost to suicide. And what's not helping all of this is the level of wealth inequality and political divisions that we have in North America and around the globe. Just talking about wealth inequality alone, just this morning, there was a study out just stating that the richest 1,000 people on the planet recouped their COVID-19 losses within just 9 months. On the other hand, it could take more than a decade for the world's poorest to recover from the economic impacts of the pandemic. And this is from an Oxfam report called The Inequality Virus. Was actually published in January and was released for opening day of the World Economic Forum. And so we have an inequality virus. We've seen it on the news. We've seen it on social media, just how much wealth inequality there is. The report also shows that COVID-19 has the potential to increase economic inequality in almost every country at once. And the first time that this has happened since over a century ago is now. So rising inequality means it could take at least 14 times longer for the number of people living in poverty to return to pre-pandemic levels than it took for the fortunes of the top 1,000 billionaires to bounce back. And so we're struggling with several layers of issues. And if you read the first edition of Holistic Wealth, you know these are the key pillars of holistic wealth. You know these are the things that are critical for us to live a holistically wealthy lifestyle. And it's unbelievable how much the news cycle, social media perpetuates this type of thing where people look on and they think about their lives and they compare themselves to others, and it perpetuates this cycle of negativity. And I think it happens to all of us at some point because we're all bombarded with this during COVID-19 and we've all been watching the news cycle very closely. It can get very negative. So if you're like me, you're probably at the point where you're looking at reframing and refocusing your life. I know I've been there. After my husband died, I had to reframe and I had to refocus, and this was before COVID. But luckily, I had the chance to do that and to develop a framework for how we can turn the tide in our lives to enjoy tremendous success, joy, and financial freedom. And so when I wrote that first edition of Holistic Wealth, which is now an award-winning book, it's a best-selling book, and it kind of started that movement for holistic wealth globally. So I'm immensely proud of the work we've been able to do so far. And in launching this podcast and having the time to reflect on what has happened to us all collectively through COVID-19, the big announcement is that Holistic Wealth, the expanded and updated version, is now available for pre-order. And I'm so excited to share that with you. I wanted to do this on the podcast first so that everyone could know about this. It's a tremendous book. It's amazing. It has a foreword written by iconic actress Kelly Rutherford. And as many of you probably know, Kelly was a guest on this podcast earlier and shared some tremendous insights. And we collaborated together on the foreword for the book, for the Holistic Wealth Expanded and Updated Edition. And that foreword is mind-blowing. It is award-winning. It is absolutely amazing. And in addition to that, the expanded and updated version of Holistic Wealth has fresh new insights, all new chapters, combined with my personal story. And I've gotten even more vulnerable than I have in the past. I've gotten more vulnerable, more personal in this edition. I've shared parts of myself that I've never shared before. I've shared my story of my experience with racism, with sexism. I've shared more of my personal story. And I feel like during COVID-19, I had to do that because of the issues that have been raised through COVID and because of the issues that we're all grappling with now as a society. And so this book is even more deeply personal and deeply vulnerable. But through my personal story, I know that we can turn the tide. We can bounce back. This is a framework for rekindling and living your life into your best days going forward. This is absolutely the framework that we need going into our post-pandemic lives in order to rebuild and to refocus and to realign. Now, we have some amazing pre-order bonuses available. like the Holistic Wealth 101 digital workbook, which is available as soon as you pre-order your book, and we can get that to you digitally. The book is a great gift. It's a great book to give as a gift for family, teachers, friends. This is a gift of an opportunity to rediscover, to release that meaning, to release inspiration and joy. It's so fit for the moments. It's so fit for the times that we are in. And my personal story, this journey for me started with that viral article, that I wrote on Thrive Global entitled, "My Husband Died at Age 34. Here are 40 life lessons I learned from it." And that was the viral article that led to the first edition of the book. And a movement for holistic wealth grew out of that first edition. And we're at the point now where we have the Institute on Holistic Wealth with certified holistic wealth consultants. After the first edition was published, so many women came back to me and they said, "You have to write this. You have to write this certification because we want to be holistic wealth consultants going out in the field, helping women to spread this mission of holistic wealth." And so we have that now. We have this podcast, and several guests on this podcast have shared their amazing story in the updated and expanded holistic wealth. So I'm eager for you guys to get your pre-orders in. The book is available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Target. It's available everywhere. It will be available in bookstores all across North America. I'm happy to say it will be available on release day in bookstores. But pre-orders are great because we have several bonuses that will be announced, starting with the Holistic Wealth 101 digital workbook. And we have some other pre-order announcements forthcoming. So stay tuned to the podcast, subscribe, keep following the journey, and pre-order the book to give as gifts to families, friends. And I wish you all the best of luck, success, and in all your endeavors. And tune in. Let's continue this journey together that we've built, the momentum that we've built up. I'm so happy to have everyone along on this exciting journey. Thank you for joining us this week on Holistic Wealth with Keisha Blair. Make sure to visit our website, KeishaBlair.com, where you can subscribe to the show on iTunes, Spotify, or via RSS, so you will never miss a show. While you're at it, if you found value in this show, we'd appreciate a rating on iTunes, or if you simply tell a friend about the show, that would help us out too. Are you a member of the Institute on Holistic Wealth? If not, what are you waiting for? Go to Institute on Holistic Wealth /memberships to choose your membership plan and join. As a member, you get so many perks. Free worksheets, advice, coaching, and a member's workshop to design an intentionally designed life. You need to figure out your life purpose? Take the Build Your Life Purpose Portfolio online self-paced course. You're struggling with all your money decisions? Take the free financial identities quiz and then take the course. You recently had a breakup, job loss, or experienced the death of a loved one? Take the Holistic Healing course. You need an overall plan to achieve holistic wealth? We will help you figure out your holistic wealth blueprint. And of course, if you want to start making money by helping others achieve holistic wealth, become a certified holistic wealth consultant. Regardless of what career you've got, the Institute will show you how to increase your income and walk in your purpose. The sooner you join, the sooner you start to achieve a more holistically wealthy lifestyle. And you're going to want to stay for a very long time. So go to Institute on Holistic Wealth /memberships to join. If you haven't read the book yet, pick up a copy of the award-winning, best-selling Holistic Wealth 32 Life Lessons to help you find purpose, prosperity, and happiness.